Time to perfectly predict every match at Summerslam, and maybe some surprises as well. Make sure you're subscribed so when SummerSlam's over, you can come here and tell me how wrong I was about everything. Let's start off with the United States Championship as our current US champion, Logan Paul, takes on LA Knight. Yeah. So the whole thing about this match is a lot of people were for a while thinking that LA Knight was going to win this one pretty much hands down. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, people started turning and thinking Logan was going to win this because they're in his hometown. That only works when your hometown actually likes you. And Logan Paul is despised pretty much wherever he goes. Now, the odds have completely shifted back to LA Knight winning this match, and I think that's the most easy guarantee for this PLE. And that's solely because I don't think there's any other person currently on SmackDown that is in line to take the title off of Logan Paul. And I also believe in the end of the day, they are going to want Logan Paul on Raw for Netflix in 2025. And if he has a title, that's not going to switch brands. So I think it's pretty obvious to pick LA Knight to win his first singles title on the main roster on the second grandest stage of them all, SummerSlam, WrestleMania 2.0, whatever you want to call it. Give it to LA Knight. He's going to win this one, and it's going to be electric. Moving on to the second mid-card championship, which is Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. This is another one that I feel like is pretty easy to predict because I highly doubt that Sami Zayn would beat Braun Breaker 2 PLEs in a row, and I really feel like they are trying to transition Braun Breaker into becoming the next and the long-reigning Intercontinental champion, so having a short-ish reign with Sami Zayn in the middle of 2 really long reigns could work out. I think Braun Breaker wins this one probably via squash at this point. I don't think that Sami Zayn is going to just get squashed. I think there's going to be a lot of him kicking out at the last second, just barely getting his shoulder up, but I think it's going to overall be like a John Cena versus Brock Lesnar situation where Braun Breaker is just going to steamroll Sami the entire match, dominate probably around 90% of it, and then eventually get a pretty confident win. Moving on to the Women's WWE Championship, which is going to be Bayley defending her title against the Queen of the Ring, Nia Jax. Now we're getting into the little bit of the surprise territory because I do believe that Nia Jax is in a way going to win this match against Bayley. I don't know how. I think Tiffy may help her out. And there's a reason that I included Tiffy in this picture here, and it's because I believe Tiffany Stratton is going to cash in her women's Money in the Bank and walk away with the Women's WWE Championship. I honestly don't think there's a bad way to book this one because in general, Tiffany Stratton cashing in her Money in the Bank, whether it's during the match, whether it's after the match against Nia Jax or after the match against Bayley too, it really doesn't work out in a bad way here because I think the fans are going to be ecstatic to watch Tiffany Stratton cash in and win the Women's WWE Championship and eventually build in towards a WrestleMania match between her and Charlotte Flair. There's a video on that one a little bit into the future. Next up is the Women's World Championship as our current champion Liv Morgan will take on a returning Rhea Ripley, and this is one of those other surprises. I do the air quotes because I think pretty much all of wrestling social media is aware of what's going to happen here. And when I say that, I mean that Dominic Mysterio is going to betray Rhea Ripley here and help Liv Morgan keep her title. The main reason why this makes sense is because now Liv Morgan is the heel and Rhea Ripley is the babyface. So you can't have Dominic Mysterio, probably the #1 heel in the business right now, walking around with a babyface. It just doesn't work like that. So having him, in order to spice up this story, go and help Liv Morgan instead actually would make a lot more sense. And I know they probably don't want to just end the Liv Morgan title reign quickly because of obviously the Rhea Ripley deserves the title back because she never lost it, but they'll build to something down the line. It would have been fun if her real-life husband, Buddy Murphy, didn't re-sign with AEW and he could actually come out and help him and take out Dominic. Now I'm just fantasy booking something that can't happen. But in general, I do think Liv Morgan's going to win this, and it's going to be with the help of Dom Mysterio. Next up is the only current non-title match on the show, and I changed up the formatting here a little bit because it is going to be Seth freaking Rollins special guest refereeing against Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. This one is probably, despite what odds may tell you, the hardest one for me to book because neither of these guys do I feel like should lose this match. I don't think Punk should lose his returning match. I don't think Drew should keep losing in, big situations. And obviously all the amount of times Punk has screwed Drew McIntyre out of world titles, you would think he's finally going to get his revenge here. But the biggest key by far here is Seth Rollins as the referee because it's going to come down to who does Seth want want to screw over more? The guy who took the world title off him in the first place and always mocked him for paying attention to a separate storyline, including meaning the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns situation, or the guy that screwed him over his returning match against Damian Priest, where, you know, Rollins was in a good position to win the title back until CM Punk came along. I think it's actually going to be Seth Rollins screwing over CM Punk the most, because I believe he actually has, you know, the whole beef with CM Punk coming back in general. They didn't like each other, and now you have the whole situation that Punk literally screwed him out of his returning world title match, the one where Seth basically said, if I lose, I'll never challenge for that world title with you as the champion again, even though Damian threw that out the water. The whole premise of it is why I think Seth Rollins will end up screwing over CM Punk in the end of the day. And then with some other PLEs coming down the line, I do think we will get a triple threat between the three and some crazy stipulation, hopefully like an Extreme Rules match. That could be a lot of fun. Next up are our World Championship matches, starting off with Damian Priest defending the World Heavyweight Championship versus the challenging Gunther. Now, the pretty clear heavy favorite here is that Gunther is going to beat Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship, and to be honest with you, I would agree with that. I just think this is the moment right before Bash in Berlin where you can give Gunther the world title and also claim that Damian Priest was not just a transitional champion or a filler champion. He had a great run, even though some of his matches ended in, you know, somebody helping him win. It doesn't matter. Damian Priest became a very solid babyface, and I think he is going to stay a solid babyface. And I'm very happy with the progression that I've seen from him in the promo work, in the in-ring style. Everything I've seen from Damian Priest, I'm very happy with. But as great as Damian Priest has been, I do expect that Gunther is going to walk away with the title here. Some people were saying they expect Ludwig Kaiser to come back and help Gunther win this one. I don't expect that, because I'm pretty sure he's out for the year unless he's planning on just being Gunther's mouthpiece when he eventually wins the World Championship. That could be the case. But clean or dirty, I expect Gunther to walk away with the championship here. Now, quickly, I just want to let you all know that this video is coming out post the Raw before SummerSlam, but not before the SmackDown before SummerSlam. So this next prediction is specifically in line with the fact that I believe a returning Jimmy Uso will end up costing the Bloodline team of Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga the tag team championships against DIY this Friday night SmackDown. So I believe Jimmy Uso is going to make his return, and that's going to set up what's going to happen at SummerSlam. Because Homelander will defend his undisputed WWE Championship against The Weeknd, and this one's pretty much another guarantee that Cody Rhodes is going to win. For more depth here, I do believe all the members of the Bloodline are going to come out to try and help Solo Sikoa win this match. You're going to get Tama Tonga, you're going to get Jacob Fatu, you're going to get the real Tribal Chief Tonga Loa. They're all going to come out and try to help Solo win this match, and I'm assuming Randy Orton and Kevin Owens will come out to assist Cody Rhodes. And I do believe Cody will win, but post-match, it is still a 4-on-3. You know, you're going to have Cody, Randy, and Kevin Owens, that's only 3, versus the 4 members of the Bloodline, and while Jacob Fatu is probably 3 of the 4 members at this point, there's only one way that this match could be the main event of SummerSlam, and that is because my glorious king, the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, will make his triumphant return alongside the wise man Paul Heyman. But Truth, I thought you were a Cody fan. How could you root for Roman Reigns? Because I love professional wrestling, damn it. Now, off the rip, it kind of feels weird that you would have Roman Reigns, who just lost his title to Cody Rhodes, end up coming back to save him, but it's less about the saving Cody Rhodes and more about stopping this faux bloodline while he still can. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I have Jimmy Uso making his return at SmackDown, and he will show up alongside Roman Reigns, where we will finally get the culmination at Survivor Series War Games, Bloodline versus Bloodline. Now, with the fact that this is probably going to be the main event and how stale SmackDown has recently been, and no, it's not because Cody has become champion, it would only make sense that Roman Reigns would make his return here, especially when SummerSlam is slowly becoming WrestleMania 2.0, and I literally say that because we are eventually going to get a 2-night SummerSlam. I feel like Triple H kind of has this in mind that we're going to get WrestleMania in the early part of the year, SummerSlam in the later part of the year. Just book them both basically like they're WrestleMania. Now, while we know Triple H doesn't like to take a lot of different titles off of people at one PLE, considering this is going to be WrestleMania 2.0, I could see a decent amount of title changes happening. You know, we are getting towards the end of the year. It's going to be a soft reset soon, so I wouldn't be shocked if he wants to have a decent amount of new champions. Given the fact that we understand Triple H does like long-term storytelling and a little bit less shock shock value as the previous regime. It seems like these are the general paths most people are expecting each of these title holders to either go on or lose their title in the long run. While the SummerSlam card is solid and I expect the matches to be pretty good, a moment like this is what will really assert SummerSlam as WrestleMania 2.0. And then it'll pose the question, who will be involved in this Bloodline versus Bloodline feud that eventually occurs at War Games? Let me know which of these matches you think I'm going to get wrong, and thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.